the hell are you doing here? What? Not even a knock at my door. You just walk on in? How do you even know I was decent? I could have been in the shower or something. Are you really that desperate to hear more true ghost stories? Fine, let's get started before I start my next life. Our first horrifying tale tonight comes from a college student that saw something she couldn't explain. It's called, I Think I Saw Something in My Dorm.
So I wanted to bring this up because I've been thinking about it since it happened, and I have a funny feeling about it. So, when my college got released for break, I had to stay a while longer because my dad was waiting for an off day to come get me, so I stayed an extra 2 to 3 days. So, the night before my dad came to get me, I decided to do some laundry. It was late, roughly 10 p.m. when I started. Granted, I'm pretty much alone in this building, besides a few other people, as everyone's finals were over now, so I thought I'd have the laundry room to myself. For future reference, my dorm was a hotel once that got repurposed as a dorm. Like it looks completely different other than the general style of the building. One portion looks like a motel and the other looks like a regular hotel. So around midnight exactly, I went to the communal laundry room to check to see if my laundry was dry. It wasn't, so I started it back up and left the laundry room. So the two buildings sit parallel to each other, and as I'm walking down the hall of the motel building, I can see inside some of the rooms of the hotel 1. So there's 2 beds in one of the rooms. One of the beds is empty, and the mattress is propped up against the wall. Now the other bed has sheets, so the room isn't completely empty. But as I'm looking into the room, I see a boy sitting on where the empty bed is supposed to be. He's wearing all black, basketball shorts, black hoodie, and he's swinging his legs back and forth. He looked too young to be in a dorm. His head is down so I can't see his face, and I'm thinking that the girl in that room just has a guest. But then I realize that the springs are too wide for someone to sit on it. The mattress is behind him on the wall. And so as I'm looking, I get this really odd feeling. Dread almost, a sad feeling too. And look down, I keep telling myself to not pay attention to it, and I keep walking, but when I look back up, he's now gone. There's nothing in the room now. And I remember getting the chills, and once I got back up to my room, I sat down for a minute and just kind of stared into space. Whatever I saw, I keep thinking about it, and I don't know why.
Oh, I know why you can't stop thinking about it. You can't stop thinking about it because you saw something weird. But look at the bright side. At least no one can ever say that your school doesn't have any spirit. Next, we have one from a young lady that moved out of her folks' place and into a haunted house. It's called, I Moved Out and Now I'm Terrified.
I don't even know where to start. I moved out of my parents' house 2 weeks ago, thinking I'd finally have some freedom and space of my own. At first, it was exciting. Decorating, staying up late, no rules. But now? I wish I never left. I don't feel safe here. I don't feel alone. It started small. I'd put my keys on the counter, only to find them on the floor or in the fridge. I thought I was just being forgetful, but then it got worse. One night, I came home and all the cabinets in my kitchen were open. Every single one. I know I didn't leave them like that. Then, a few nights ago, I woke up and noticed my closet door was open. I never leave it open. I swear I shut it before bed. As I stared at the dark space inside, I heard it, soft, raspy breathing, so faint it could have been my imagination. But it wasn't. I pulled the covers over my head and stayed like that until morning. The next night, I woke up to a noise under my bed. At first, it was just a low creaking, like the wood shifting. But then it escalated. A scream, choked, gurgling, and desperate. It wasn't loud, but it was enough to make me freeze. I couldn't move. Couldn't even breathe. When I finally got the courage to grab my phone and turn on the flashlight, there was nothing under there. But the shadows are the worst. At night, I'll wake up and see someone in the doorway. Just standing there. Not moving. Not blinking. The first time, I thought it was a trick of the light, but it's happened every night since. Sometimes they're closer, like they're stepping into my room, and I can't tell if they're real or if I'm going insane. Last night, I locked my door before bed. When I woke up, the lock was broken, the door wide open, and there were faint, wet footprints leading into my room and stopping right next to my bed. This morning, I found something on my bathroom sink. A hairbrush. Old, cracked, with hair still tangled in it. It's not mine. I don't even own a hairbrush like that. When I touched it, it felt damp, like it had been pulled from somewhere wet. I threw it out, but an hour later, it was back on the sink. I've started hearing whispers when I'm home alone. I can't make out what they're saying, but it's like they're coming from the walls, just low enough to drive me crazy. I can't eat. I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I feel like someone's watching me. I don't know what to do. I can't stay here, but where can I go? My parents won't believe me. They'll say I'm imagining it or being dramatic. But I know what's happening. There's something here with me. Something that doesn't want me to leave. Something that wants me to stay. And every night, it feels like it's getting closer. Update, it's happening today. I don't even know why I'm writing this. Maybe it's to make sense of things, or maybe it's just because I need anyone, to know what's happening to me. Since this morning, everything has spiraled out of control. I thought staying out of the apartment would help, but no matter where I go, it feels like it follows me. I woke up early at a friend's house, hoping for some peace. I didn't tell them what's going on, I didn't want to sound insane, but when I opened my eyes, their cat was sitting in the doorway of the guest room, staring at me. Its fur was matted and wet, even though my friend swore it hadn't been outside. Then, I noticed a faint, damp footprint next to the bed. I decided to head home to grab some clothes and figure out my next move, but as soon as I stepped into the apartment, the air felt heavier. It was hard to breathe, like something was pressing down on my chest. The moment I walked into the bathroom, I saw the mirror fogged up, as though someone had just showered, even though I hadn't been home. Written in the condensation were 3 words, "Don't fight it." I can't bring myself to sleep. The whispers have grown louder throughout the day, almost like they're trying to form words. I don't recognize the language, but it's deep and guttural, like something choking on the sounds. It all came to a head a couple of hours ago. I heard water dripping and thought it was the kitchen sink, but when I walked down the hall, I saw a puddle forming. It led right to my bedroom. My bed was completely soaked, sheets, mattress, everything, and in the middle of it was the hairbrush. The same one I threw away. Twice. I don't know how it keeps coming back. I don't know how any of this is happening. I've kept all the lights on since this morning, but they've started flickering. My phone battery drains faster than it should, and no matter how many times I check the time, it's like it never changes. I called my parents earlier today, desperate for help. The call dropped midway through. When I checked my phone, the last call wasn't to them, it was to an unknown number. I don't remember dialing it. I don't even know how long the call lasted. Right now, I'm sitting in my car, writing this. I can't go back inside. But I can't stay out here much longer either. Every time I look up at the window, I see the shadow of someone standing there. Watching me. Waiting. Something is going to happen tonight. I don't know what, but I can feel it. Whatever this is, it doesn't want me to leave. And I'm not sure I'll survive if I try. If you don't hear from me again, Please, just, don't come looking for me. Whatever this thing is, it's not just haunting me anymore. It's taking me. Today. Update, it just happened again. Okay, I don't even know how to explain this, but something just happened while I was writing this. I was sitting here at my desk, typing everything out, trying to figure out what's happening, trying to make sense of it. While I was writing, I heard it again. The breathing. But this time, it wasn't soft or distant. It was right behind me, so close I could feel the air shift. It was louder, heavier, like whoever, or whatever, it was, wanted me to know it was there. I froze. I couldn't even breathe. My fingers stopped moving, and for a second, all I could hear was my heartbeat pounding in my ears. I tried to convince myself I was imagining it, but then my chair moved. It didn't just creak or shift a little, it jerked. Like someone grabbed it and yanked it back. I screamed, shot out of the chair so fast I knocked my laptop onto the floor. My back hit the wall, and I just stood there, staring, but there was nothing. No one. Then I noticed the door. It was wide open. I know I closed it earlier. I don't even remember touching it today. How did it open? Who opened it? I'm shaking so bad I can barely type this. My chest feels tight, and I can't stop looking over my shoulder. I swear it's still here, just watching, waiting for me to stop writing. This isn't in my head. It's not just a bad dream. It's real, and it doesn't want me to tell anyone. I don't know what to do. I feel like the moment I stop typing, it's going to do something. Something worse.
Oh my good lord, that's a hell of a thing now, ain't it? I do have a small suggestion though. You could have a friend, or your parents stay with you for a night. See if they have any experiences. If for nothing else than validation. I mean, you did say you didn't think anyone would believe you, right? Well, as they say, seeing is believing. Next up, we have one from a dude that seems to have several flatmates. Some he can see, and some he can't see. We call this one, Weird Occurrences in My House.
I've been living in my house for the last 5 years and have had various flatmates, and we've all experienced something weird. Started off with the tap turning on and off occasionally, which we didn't pay much attention to. Next is I started noticing a spot in the corridor at night where the air would feel denser than usual, not sure how else to explain it, and walking through it didn't really sit right with my instincts. Kind of brushed it off for a while, but then had this Tibetan prayer wheel I had hung on the wall in the corridor occasionally falling off. I also constantly hear noises coming from what seems like the corridor/kitchen and especially the other bedroom, which is directly behind my head. Always feels like someone is opening and closing drawers constantly, and it'll happen at like 3 a.m. too, and even if no one else is at home. A few times walking back from the bathroom down the corridor, I felt something lightly pinch my t-shirt by my shoulder, and once brush against my knee. Both times I got some chills through my body. Then that all mostly stopped, and out of nowhere one day, me and my flatmate were talking in the kitchen when the distinct loud noise of a marble dropping to the floor and bouncing a few times happened right in between us. We were literally standing facing each other. No marble obviously, but the sound was so loud, literally makes no sense. A few weeks ago my new flatmate randomly found a marble in the house in the living room. Makes no sense as we recently put new flooring in, so did a deep clean, and I've never had a marble ever in that house. Any suggestion could help. The activity doesn't feel particularly negative or anything, just weird and doesn't make much sense. I felt my uncle who passed visit me too, but that felt like a much more positive and intense experience. This feels something not really connected to me.
Well, personally, I think if the ghost is going to be hanging out at your place that much, then maybe he should be paying his share of the rent. Well, guys and gals, I think that's it for another night. What? You want one more? Gee, you're braver than I thought, but fine. I'll tell you one more before your long journey home. It's about a woman who lives in a house with a ghost that is into 5-finger discount. It's entitled, A Ghost Stole My Phone.
When I got pregnant with my youngest, I moved to a small town and lived in a house built in the 70s. I remember going to look at the house, and even though it needed a lot of work, something made me attracted to it. There was a lot of ghost activity that went on in that house, like laughter coming from the dining room, my feet being slapped at night, door handles moving, etc. But this is one of the strangest yet coolest things that happened to me in that house. It was November of '09, and I was so excited to get a new phone, specifically a green Pantech Pursuit. I loved this phone so much. I treated it like a baby and had it with me 24/7. Well, one day, about a year and a half later, I was folding clothes and heard my phone fall off of the ironing board. Focused on what I was doing, I heard it drop, but didn't think much of it. When I was done folding and went to go grab my phone, and it was gone, I looked everywhere. Thought I was going crazy. Every possible scenario went through my head, and after 2 days of ripping my house apart, I decided that it was gone forever. Got a new phone and moved on. In late 2012, was in the kitchen on the phone with a friend telling her about how much I miss my old phone. Around 15 minutes later, I went to walk up the stairs to my room, and sitting in the middle of the stairs was my old phone. I was happy, confused, and relieved. I just remember telling my friend, and she thought I was crazy. I grabbed it, went to my room, and plugged it in to find out it had some charge on it. On top of that, a text message from an unknown number that had been sent to me on my birthday, which was a week ago, saying, "Sorry." 1. That phone had no way to receive calls or texts since I didn't change my number when I got a new phone. 2. I was home alone and just finished cleaning the house, vacuumed the stairs, so if it was there beforehand, I would have seen it. To this day, it's just perplexing. Me nor my kids were ever fearful of the spirit. I wish I would have tried to figure out more while living in that house.
Well, at least she was sorry for stealing your phone. So, how was that? Did those stories satisfy your need to get scared? Good. Then it's time for you to go. But before you leave, could you do me a little favor? Could you please hit like, subscribe, and share this video? It'll really help us keep the ghosts at bay. And of course, if any of you have a story to share, or have any thoughts about our stories tonight, or if you have any suggestions on subjects for upcoming videos, or even just general thoughts about my channel, then by all means, drop me a line in the comments. But I do want to thank you for stopping by, and I hope the stories we told won't be giving you too many bad dreams. But if they do, then maybe you shouldn't run from them. After all, sometimes it's better to embrace your nightmares.